Well, some people wanted to see what my mug looked like a few years later after my surgery. And this is me. I think I'm standing in the same place. Um, yeah, so my nose is thinner. And believe it or not, it's still healing. After about 3 years, it was quite something to go through. So that's my schnoz now. And at least little kids don't look at me like a monster. It was pretty embarrassing, like sitting in church and there'd be a little kid in front and turn around in their chair and they would look at me and stare at me and nudge their parents to look at me, or in the store they would look at me. And when I was a kid, I always had a good looking nose, and I got older and rosacea just kind of decided to set in, and it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. Also, as a kid, I did a lot of body work. I used a lot of fiberglass, so that could have been a reason why I had the flare-ups that I had. When my Rhinophyma was really bad, there wasn't a day that went by that my nose wouldn't engorge with blood and pus, and it was very painful. There was times that my eye would just close up solid, like I'd gotten into a boxing match or something. So I don't know, I'm glad I did it. I found somebody that was willing to work with me. I'm in northern Nevada, and I talked to lots of doctors and they wouldn't touch me. And I found one doctor in Reno, Nevada, Dr. Rye, and he kind of took me on. Initially, I think I paid like $4,000, $5,000, but I had to go under anesthesia. I bled a lot, apparently, during the surgery. And as soon as I had gotten home, I ended up having a really bad nosebleed on the outside from the surgery, so bad that I couldn't get it to stop. So I had to call an ambulance. They came and got me, went to emergency. They got it to stop. They sent me home. And as soon as I got home and I sat down in my chair, the other side started in bleeding really bad. And same paramedics, Huey and Dewey, came to my house, and they looked at me and they said, "Really?" And so I'm riding in the back of the ambulance, and one of the paramedics, he's putting pressure on my nose, and he's standing up over me, and the ambulance is swaying back and forth. And then all of a sudden I heard this crunch. My nose got broke. So I had to get my nose set. This is kind of weird, this phone. I'm looking straight at the phone, but it looks like I'm looking off to the side. There's the camera hole over there, so I don't even know where to look. But anyway, yeah. So that had happened. They got it to stop. They sent me home. I had a broken nose on top of my surgery. And then 2 months later, I had a bloody nose. I had a vessel up in my nasal cavity, way up top. And I couldn't get it to stop bleeding. And I had to go to emergency again. And they had to put a balloon up my nose. And I had to wear it for like 4 days. And it looked like a tampon sticking in my nose. And then I went to an outpatient ear, nose, and throat doctor, and he took it out. And as soon as he took it out, it started bleeding again. And so he cauterized it, and he says, "You're good to go now." So I said, "Okay, cool." So I went home, and later on that night, I had a bloody nose again, and another ambulance ride, and I went to emergency. And it was a good thing that same doctor, outpatient, in another building in the city, he was there doing like emergency stuff. And it just so happened that he spotted me, and I think he felt a little sheepish. And I mean, I was just gushing out blood. And he had me blow my nose, and don't mean to be gross, but the clots that came out. And my brother was there in the room, and he couldn't handle it, so he had to leave the room. And so he cauterized my the vessel again up in there, but it continued to bleed. And he was a little perplexed on what to do. And then I started getting worried, because by then I'd lost a lot of blood through the day. And he ended up using some kind of bandage that I guess they use in a battlefield or whatever. Little tiny strips of bandage. And he got it up in there and kind of taped it up. And it stopped. And knock on wood, I haven't had a bloody nose since. I'm always reluctant to blow my nose. So, I don't know. It comes with a cost, I guess. And, but I feel a little more confident. I can put my shades on. And nobody's looking at me. And now we're during, this is COVID time, and everybody's wearing masks and stuff. And I'm thinking, guy, if we had to wear masks back then, maybe I wouldn't have had to get surgery, to cover my face up. But anyway, it's just an update. Somebody had asked, and was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth it, because I had pain every day in my nose, so and pus, and the constant swelling, it going down by putting ice on it, and swelling and going down. It got thick like a callus, my nose. So he basically, cut it like an orange. And like I said, when I went under the knife, but I was out, he said I bled a lot. So it kind of didn't surprise me that post operation that I had all those problems and ambulance rides. So anyway, that's my update. That's my story. My name is Mitch, and I'll stick to it. So ask me any questions, whatever. But it's good to at least look somewhat normal at 58 years old. So yeah. All right, take care, everybody. And if you're having these kind of problems, you should get it looked at right away. All right, thank you. God bless you. Bye.